Hello and welcome. Today is all about my current skincare and hair care favorites. So if you'd like to see all the skincare and hair care products I've been loving recently, just keep on watching. So I wanted to start out talking about a silk pillowcase. This one is from LilySilk. It's a really beautiful design and feel to this. This was very kindly sent to me from LilySilk and I've been enjoying it so much. Silk pillowcases are really great for both your skin and your hair, and part of the reason for that is because of the actual texture of the silk. So this is really nice and smooth, very satiny and soft feeling, and it has a real kind of glide to it, which is exactly what you want in a silk pillowcase, because it's that glide that reduces the friction that could lead to fine lines and wrinkles on your face if you're sleeping on your side. If you are just sleeping on a normal cotton or flannel type pillowcase, there's going to be more friction against your skin, which is more likely to cause those lines from your pillow. Same concept applies to the hair. So if you have too much friction with the hair against your pillow, it's more likely to kind of irritate the hair and cause more split ends and kind of breakage. The other thing about the silk is that it's better at retaining moisture. So both the moisture, again, in your skin and in your hair is more likely to stay where it is rather than be absorbed into the pillowcase if you're using a lovely 100% silk pillowcase like this one. This is 100% mulberry silk. It's beautiful. LilySilk is also very interested in being environmentally friendly. They have tons of different designs to choose from for their pillowcases. I chose this one because I just love flowers. Anything with flowers on it is going to be my first choice probably. And I just thought that this one was so pretty, but as I said, they have tons of different color options as well as size options for their pillowcases. So thank you so much to LilySilk for sending me that. I've been enjoying it so much. And now I'm going to move on to a skincare device. So I wanted to talk about this. This is the Light Stim for Acne. I bought this a few months ago. I think around December is when I bought it. And it's been such a useful skincare tool for me since I got it. So it's LED light. I'm going to turn it on. It's going to blow out the camera for a second, but just so you can see. Okay, there, you can see it better close up. But it actually has two different colors of LED light. So it has the blue and the red that are on at the same time. You probably get the overall impression of a purple, but there's blue and red lights there. And so the red LED lights are meant to treat inflammation and redness in the skin. And I think red light can also be useful for wrinkles and fine lines. But because this is the Light Stim for Acne, I just kind of think of the red light as more for soothing and anti-inflammatory qualities. The blue light parts are actually what's fighting the bacteria that causes acne. So the blue light is meant to be antibacterial. All acne forms from bacteria, as I understand. So it makes sense that the blue light would be there to really target the bacteria, and in conjunction with the red light fighting the inflammation, this has been a really effective tool for me for dealing with pimples. So although I have cut out hyaluronic acid, I do still get breakouts, definitely not as bad, and my overall redness is generally a lot better than it was when I was using products with hyaluronic acid in them, but breakouts still happen and mistakes happen too. For example, a couple of weeks ago, I used the Glossier cream bronzer, the one that's in the little tube with the doe foot applicator. It looked so nice. And then at the end of the day, when I took my makeup off, I had a bunch of pimples. I looked up the ingredients in the bronzer, and of course it had hyaluronic acid in it. I don't know how I missed that before, or if I had read the ingredients before and just forgot about it. But anyway, that resulted in actually a solid week of new breakouts coming just from that one product, I think, because there wasn't anything else that I used that has been causing any irritation on my skin at all. But while I had those breakouts, this was so helpful because it really helped to keep them from becoming too big and too painful. None of the acne from that breakout, I think because I was using this, actually came to a head. So it never came to the point where it was actually going to be causing like a textural issue. It was just a kind of a bump underneath the skin. And I was able to get rid of the spots successively, really taking them down significantly with just about 2 sessions of using this. So I just wanted to mention this. It's definitely an investment, but for me, it's been one that's worth it. I haven't been using any spot treatments on my acne, so like no peroxides, no exfoliants or anything. I had been using the Good Molecules Overnight Exfoliating Treatment as my spot treatment for quite some time, but I discovered that actually does have hyaluronic acid in it. So although it was exfoliating, it was also kind of re-irritating my skin at the same time. So I got rid of that and I just haven't replaced it with any other spot treatment. But this has really made me feel like I perhaps don't even need a spot treatment if I'm able to treat my blemishes with this instead. So for skincare products, let's start with the body, and I wanted to talk about this Bioderma Atoderm. It's just their like oil gel cleanser type of thing. I only use this on my body. I'm not sure if you can use it on your face. I'm sure people do. It would probably work nicely as a makeup remover on the face as well. But I've just been using it on my body and I really like it because my skin is very dry, and especially in the winter, it's been exceptionally dry. But I still want to be able to wash my body and get a little bit of just kind of gentle physical exfoliation with a loofah. And this has just been such a great product to use because it is oil based, and so it's actually very moisturizing while kind of cleansing and lightly physically exfoliating the skin depending on what tool you're using to apply it with. So I've just been loving that. It's very affordable for this giant thing. I think it was like $20 Canadian or something. It lasts forever and it has a really nice, very mild scent. My other body care favorite is the Aveeno moisturizer. In the wintertime, I like to use this one with the blue. It's the Skin Relief Moisturizing Lotion with Shea Butter. It's fragrance free. This to me is their most moisturizing one, so it's kind of their heaviest moisturizer. I like to use the one with the green label in the seasons where my skin isn't as dry, but for when my skin is at its driest and kind of most prone to being itchy and kind of flaky, this is the best one. It keeps my skin hydrated, but doesn't take too long to sink in. It doesn't feel greasy, but I still feel nice and moisturized and not dry or itchy as I normally would in the winter time. So I love that. Again, it's something that's very affordable and very effective in my experience. So now getting into the face, I wanted to talk about another affordable product, which is the Nivea cream. This is extremely affordable. So this is a huge tub, 250 milliliters, and it was probably no more than $14 Canadian for an entire cup of Nivea cream, essentially. It's a super thick cream. It reminds me very, very much of the Creme de la Mer, the original cream. It's the same texture as that, actually smells pretty much the same to that as well. And I think it has a very similar effect on the skin. It works great as kind of a barrier cream because it is so thick. It's very occlusive and therefore is really good at keeping the moisture in the skin. So I often like to use this actually on top of my other moisturizer, which I'll show you in a moment. But this, I find, it doesn't sink into the skin very quickly, but it's great to hold in what you already have on your skin. And in the wintertime with my dry skin, this has been great. I've also found it really nice as kind of almost like an ointment. So if I have any areas with irritation, often around this area, I'll get a little bit of irritation from time to time, a little bit dry and kind of scaly right there. But if I put this on top of it, it really, really helps to take care of it in just about a day or so. So I would say if you love the Creme de la Mer and you haven't tried this, give this a try. It might be a really good alternative for you. I've gone through lots of samples of the Creme de la Mer over the years and always enjoyed it and kind of used it in the same way that I'm using the Nivea as more of a kind of a spot ointment, or if my skin's really dry to kind of help seal everything in. But I think the Nivea is doing just as good of a job as the La Mer was. So I'm really happy to have worked that into my routine. The other moisturizer that I was talking about is the Belief, the True Cream Moisturizing Balm. So they have a few different moisturizing creams, this brand, Belief. This is kind of their most moisturizing, I think, for their face creams. It has a beautiful texture. It's kind of like the Aveeno cream that I was talking about. It feels really nice and moisturizing, but it sinks in pretty quickly too. So it sinks in, doesn't leave you feeling greasy, but leaves you feeling nice and hydrated. I think for the summer, I might try their Aqua Cream, which is in kind of the same type of presentation as this one, but it's more of a gel-based moisturizer, which will be nice for those more humid months when my skin is a little bit more oily. So I've been really enjoying this, especially as a daytime moisturizer. It just wears really nicely on the skin, wears beautifully under makeup. It does have a slight fragrance as well. It's kind of a fresh fresh, maybe slightly citrusy, but kind of watery fragrance to it, but I don't find it overpowering at all. And this has just been great for my sensitive skin. It hasn't caused any irritations or problems, and it does the job of a moisturizer. The other moisturizer I've been really enjoying is the Dr. Jart Cica Pear. I can't remember if I've ever talked about this on my channel. I have gone through a full-size tube of this before. My issue with this cream is that I don't actually find it very moisturizing. So that's kind of what's prevented me from repurchasing the full size of it. I can't really use it on its own. It has to be paired with another moisturizer for me to get the actual moisture that I need out of it. But I just wanted to show a tiny little bit of it on my hand so you can see why I like it. I like it because of the color and what that color does. You probably can't really see what it does on my hand, but it is a green color, so it cancels out redness a little bit. And in addition to the color canceling your redness, it also has ingredients in it that's kind of soothe that redness and inflammation. And I really have found that using this really has helped with bringing down a lot of the redness in my overall skin tone. So I really enjoy that. It's not perfect, but it's a nice kind of thing even to just have in these little sample sizes, because you can just kind of mix it in with your other moisturizer when you really want to tone down redness and irritation on the skin. I don't need it every day, but it's just kind of nice to have as an option. The last skincare item I wanted to talk about is this sunscreen. This is the Misa Essence Sun SPF 45 PA+++ sunscreen. I just ordered this from Amazon. I've been using it for a few weeks now, and I've really been loving it. I think this is a Korean brand, and I decided I wanted to try this because I've really been looking for a good everyday sunscreen that doesn't irritate my skin. A lot of sunscreens will break me out or just cause kind of a burning feeling on the skin. The scent of sunscreen is also a bit of an issue for me. I have chronic migraines, and so certain scents can really set me off. And my sense of smell is very sensitive as well. So certain fragrances can smell really strong to me, and a lot of sunscreens just tend to have those types of scents that really don't agree with me. So I wanted to try this both for my skin and for the scent issue. This does have a scent, but I think it's lovely. I don't get any of that kind of sunscreeny note in this at all. It just has a really light, fresh, kind of slightly floral, but not in a heavy way at all, fragrance to it, and I find it quite enjoyable. And I also love the texture of this, the way it looks on the skin. It's totally invisible on the skin. It wears great under makeup or on its own. It doesn't leave any white cast or anything like that. It is a chemical sunscreen. I found that in general, mineral sunscreens don't feel as good on my skin. They don't really quite sit the way I want them to. They always end up giving me a cast, even if they don't give a cast at first or they claim to not give a cast. There's something in those mineral formulas that as the day goes on, I just get this kind of weird, it's hard to perceive, but there's this weird kind of like grayness and dullness to my skin when I wear a mineral sunscreen. They also tend to have a scent that comes up from them that I really don't like. So I would highly recommend this sunscreen if you've been looking for a good daily sunscreen for sensitive skin, as long as you're all right with fragrance. I mean, obviously look up the ingredients if there are specific types of ingredients that you try to avoid. The other reason that I was very happy to find this is that it doesn't have hyaluronic acid in it, so I didn't have to worry about that. A lot of the sunscreens coming out these days do have hyaluronic acid in it, so I really have to be careful to avoid that. Now quickly, just to finish up with hair care, these are not like new favorites in any way. I've been using these for years actually, but I don't think I've talked about them on my channel, or maybe I've only talked about one of them. But these are my two go-to hairstyling products and hair care products out of the shower. The first is the Oribe Super Shine Moisturizing Cream. It does just what the name says. It makes your hair look shinier and it gives you moisture. So I try to not put too much conditioner in my hair when I'm washing it. I have very fine hair and conditioner can weigh it down. So I use my conditioner only really in the bottom half of my hair, but I try to use more lightweight conditioner. So sometimes I'll get out of the shower and my hair is just feeling a little bit more dry than I want it to. And this really comes to the rescue when that's the case. I just put tiny little pea-sized amount, rub it between my fingers and kind of press it into the hair, again just staying down on the lower half mainly, and it just adds the little bit of extra hydration that I want without being too heavy, and also adds a really nice shine to the hair. And then the other one is the Oribe Creme for Style. This is great for if you have hair that doesn't really want to hold any kind of shape or style. This will just add a little bit of hold, just enough to kind of keep a little bit of volume, and if you kind of curl your hair like this, it'll just keep the curls in a little bit better, keep that wavy shape in your hair if you tend to have hair that really won't hold a curl at all, which is what my hair is like. But with this, I'm able to get a little tiny bit of hold. It doesn't feel crunchy at all. You really don't even feel it in the hair. Again, I only use a very small amount of this, so maybe a little bit more than a pea-sized amount, but that does my whole head, and I focus it more again in this area of the hair where I can take a little bit more product and not too close to the scalp. But when I use this, I do kind of get it all over the hair. Both of these I put in when they're damp, usually out of the shower, but you can use both of these on dry hair as well. So for example, if I wanted to just restyle my bangs one day, I would just put a tiny little bit of this. I could put it right in dry hair and then kind of blow dry my bangs and get back to the type of volume and shape that I want in them. Now the last hair care item I wanted to talk about is this tiny little sample from JVN, that's Jonathan Van Ness's brand. It is the Complete Nourishing Shine Drops. So this was just a little sample that I got in one of my Sephora orders. It's basically like a hair oil as far as I can tell, but it gives an incredible shine to the hair and really smooths things down. This is the kind of thing that I would use as a last step when I'm styling my hair. I would just put a couple tiny little drops of that. Again, rub it between my hands and just kind of press it into anywhere where there's a little bit of frizz. The ends are always, of course, drier, so it just kind of rehydrates and smooths everything out and gives a beautiful shine to the hair. So I've really been enjoying that product as well. So that's everything I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions or comments below. I always love to see those. And if you'd like to see more from me and you haven't subscribed to my channel already, I would love for you to do so. Thanks again so much. Take care, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.